Inside what remained of the catacombs that had not been caved in, Nadir crawled and stumbled his way to a hidden room deep in the underground. There, he was greeted by a strange hooded figure, who stood before a cauldron that was bubbling and spitting a strange dark energy. Nadir greeted the strange figure, as if he knew exactly who he was, as he handed the blood-stained sword to them. Taking it from him, they broke the end of the sword that was painted with blood, and proceeded to drop it inside the cauldron. When they did, a violent reaction begins to occur, as the room was filled with a blinding golden light, as the blood and dark energy began to form as one, filling the room with a deafening noise until it finally died back down. What was left from the resulting reaction was a soul, bound together by the blood of two warriors. But this time, there was one slight modification. The process was stopped just before the reaction could be completed, leaving what was left behind in the cauldron to be the soul of another living being that, in order to be completed to form the body, now needed unprecedented amounts of energy to kickstart the reaction again. Encasing the essence in a vial, the hooded figure set it atop an altar. When asked by Nadir what any of this was for, they proclaimed that they had been contacted by higher forces, who had spoken to them in their dreams, ordering them that if they wished to one day avenge this war, this strange and rather bewildering ritual must be performed. And with that, the hooded figure proceeds to leave for the surface, where he would go to pursue this new mission of theirs. But before they leave, they hand Nadir a dagger without saying a word, and instead looking upon him as if he expected to know what he needs to do. Taking the dagger was enough of a confirmation as they leave the room and seal the door behind them. Falling to his knees, a final smile encroaches upon his face, as when it does, Nadir plunges the dagger deep inside and slices his stomach wide open, coating the walls and floor around him in magma as he falls to the floor, his body giving out and losing its shape as it pools on the floor around him. And with this, finally, after so long, Nadir Helmfire was dead. Now turning to the sun-graced land above the underground, a crowd of laughter rose as songs of victory filled the air. The kings and queens all shared their gratitude and for their efforts, knowing that the outcome would have been much different without them. As for Gastrolite and Larnia, they both had their wounds tended to, and together they embraced one another, hearts intertwined as one. King Icarnus then rose to a high position to overlook his soldiers. Soldiers, kings and queens, today we have earned a hard-fought victory, one that has put an end to tyranny and a life of tribulation. You will all be honored, your names and efforts etched into the sands of time. While we will celebrate this victory, let us not forget those who died to bring us here. Friends, family, comrades, all will be remembered. Let us head back properly. We must celebrate this day. Together, everyone banded together to return home. One more march to victory. As when they did, the streets were littered with celebration. The bells rang out across the kingdom. People welcomed home their children and loved ones. Parades were held, as at long last, a ceremony was held to celebrate the love of now Princess Larnia and Prince Gastrolite, as Icarnus and Eventide announced their step back from the throne to make way for the new royal couple. A new dawn was to begin for the planet Phoenix, one of peace and prosperity. However, fate would have other plans. Centuries pass. The Phoenix Crest now live under the rulings of King Gastrolite and Queen Larnia. Together, they brought the kingdom to new heights as the word of their kingdom spread far and wide. But it was time for this planet to turn a new leaf. One day, from origins unknown to us, colonizers from another world arrived to make this planet their home. Post-haste, Gastrolite and Larnia used their powers combined to mask the kingdom to keep it protected from overseers, meaning anyone on the outside would simply see mountains and hillsides. And with this, the kingdom would never be seen again for many years to come. As for the colonizers, they spent day and night to search for a place to call home. They tirelessly searched the desolate fields, and that was when they found it. A large, abandoned structure that was claimed by time and nature, with no signs of life inhabiting within it. This was where the colonizers would make their home, and thus brings the end to a tale of old, where kings and queens fought hard for peace, only to be hidden away for what would feel like an eternity.